So, Tim Cook recently said that kids today are born digital. First, what does that even mean? And two, is it a good thing? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Geek Show, where we talk all things tech. Today, we're going to discuss an interview that Tim Cook had. He sat down with GQ, and during the discussion, he mentioned having guardrails for kids in relation to their screen time. So first, let's talk about what it means to be born digital, which was a phrase that he used. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Kids, almost from the moment of their birth, have a screen in front of their faces, right? How many times have you seen a kid just enamored, almost in a hypnosis type state, with an iPad in front of them, or even just with the TV or a phone? These devices act as amazing babysitters, really, allowing parents to go do the dishes or type up an email, finish off some work, because they just can't take their eyes off of them. Think about it. The high resolution, bright screens, the fast moving, high refresh rate colors are making it basically impossible for even adults, let alone kids, to really take their eyes off of these screens. And that would be fine if it didn't have an adverse effect on children. So is there any research on this? Yes, and I'll leave the links down below. A study shows that about a third of youth spend 4 hours or more on their screens. Now, if you think about somebody's 24-hour day, maybe they're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right? They're in school for several hours as well. Maybe they have dinner, right? A few moments with family interactions. That means that the majority of their free time they're spending on these screens. Okay, well, that just shows how many people are doing it, but who says it's bad? Well, an additional study shows a correlation between anxiety and depression in 9 and 10-year-olds the more time they spend on these screens. This is something we have to be very aware of and keep a close eye on, because we don't know what the effect of tech would be on a generation that's had tech from their infancy. I mean, we're seeing it now for sure, but these kids haven't turned 40. These kids haven't turned 50. We don't know what the effect is going to be on their psyche, their mind, their anxiety and depression levels, their hormones, all of these different things. It's all part of the equation. And certainly we know apps like TikTok and short form content that's now becoming prevalent in the video world, it's making it even harder for these kids to have attention spans more than just several seconds. So there's definitely a change that's happening, and we're starting to see the writing on the wall that that change might not be so good. And we know that Tim Cook is not the only person to ever express this sentiment. Just recently, the owner of TikTok revealed that his kids don't even use TikTok. Now, of course, his kids are younger than the 13-year-old age limit, but we all know that there are 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds who use TikTok. We've seen it. So not everybody's even abiding by those age restrictions, but obviously the owner of TikTok holds them very strictly in his household. Also, Mark Zuckerberg, it was shown that he doesn't let his kids use Facebook. Certainly these people all know more about the technology and its effect on the human psyche and mind and health than we do, certainly. So if they're putting these restrictions in, this needs to be a huge red flag, a huge warning for us, not just kids, but even adults, to be very aware of the relationship between how much time we're spending on these screens and the amounts of anxiety, depression, etc. that we're experiencing. Maybe even do a little experiment at home where you just take a look at your iPhone, look at the screen time you have, and then try to cut that number in half and see what kind of effect it has on your mood and other various health aspects. Not to get on a philosophical twist here, but the future is obviously moving very tech. It's moving very plugged in. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, the more connected we are, the more disconnected it seems we're becoming. I think humans need to be very analog. We're very tactile beings. And while tech is good and useful, it's a tool, I think it's a very bad move for tech to become our world. And we're seeing that with things like AR and VR, now with things like ChatGPT and AI, starting to mimic and replicate things that humans do, things that humans should be able to do. And I think maybe in the far future, who knows, tech moves super fast, we could see a world where you don't even need to really interact with humans at all. You could have things that are kind of like humans, that are AIs, that you can have social interactions with and maybe relationships with. And you can have all that inside of an AR headset. This sounds super sci-fi, super crazy, but this is not even theoretical at this point. The technology for it is already here. Tim also said in this interview, quote, "We try to get people tools in order to help them put the phone down. Because my philosophy is if you're looking at the phone more than you're looking into somebody's eyes, you're doing the wrong thing. So we do things like screen time. I don't know about you, but I pretty religiously look at my report." This is probably some serious wisdom from Tim Cook, and we all need to pay more attention to our screen time. And this is one of the things that I like about Apple. I'm an Apple fanboy because of the tech and the design and philosophy, but Apple has said several times that they really want to help humans connect more, and every once in a while they put their money where their mouth is with the technologies, helping you to actually get off of the technology so much. Apple certainly isn't afraid of losing any iPhone sales because of this philosophy about screen time. People will be buying iPhones for many, many, many years to come, but the health and well-being of those iPhone users seems to be of serious concern to at least Tim Cook, if not all of Apple. So, of course, chat with me down in the comments below. Are you currently monitoring your screen time? And if not, is that something you'd be interested in doing? Also, leave a like, you know it's YouTube, subscribe, share the video to help this conversation be more widespread, as it is an important conversation to have. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granny Geek Show.